Oh my goodness, the incredible story of the show that kickstarted the careers of so many amazing comedians that the ones that are there now are just stuck there forever because they oversaturated the market, yeah.
They want you to fail. We just have to make it to air.
The irony that we can show off in a big film on a big stage, it's had like some Oscars buzz about it. This bunch of young actors who you've mostly never heard of or seen in like that one thing, oh yeah. And they are getting to get shown off like this, playing a group of young comedians who went on to be the faces of a generation. It's a breathtaking idea. Is it any good? I mean, sure. Mostly chaotic and frantic, but that can work. Saturday Night is a story of the first broadcast of SNL, Saturday Night Live, telling the story of the 90 minutes before they went on air for the first time, with young actors taking on the roles of legends like John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy, Garrett Morris, Billy Crystal, Gilda Radner, Jim Henson, and it's got so much to it and so many things to it that you're like, whoa, this is breathtaking, and you're shocked by someone else turning up, either an actor you know or a character who you know, every 5 minutes. And it is really impressive, and at the center of it all is young Lorne Michaels, who's just trying to put the show together and keep his sanity, and he does one of those things. This feels like it's taken from something like The West Wing. It feels like television, like one of those really long episodes of The Bear. It's just this super frantic, exciting, terrifying, claustrophobic event of a film. It's nuts. And I do think the irony is that one of the central conflicts for this film is that they've got so much talent that they can't fit it all into the 90-minute show that they want to put on. And when you've got all of these incredible young actors playing these really well-recognized comedians in the central part of the cast, but you've also got all these other people turning up. Like, you've got Willem Dafoe's in this, J.K. Simmons is in this, Brad Garrett's in this, Finn Wolfhard shows up just really randomly in a couple of scenes. And you've got just so much going on and so many people to fit into this film that it does feel at times like it kind of is bowing from the weight of all this talent that you're trying to shove in there. Does that mean it doesn't work? No. Despite that, it is, I think, a truly bizarre, very fun film. I love this sort of thing that acts like it's a thriller when it's not, when it's just set in like an office or on a film or TV set. I think it makes for such interesting TV a lot of the time, and more rarely, very fascinating films. And it is such a fun thing to watch. It is just so frenetic and constantly moving, and it has got a fairly tight runtime to it, and it's just so well written. There's so many great jokes and moments in there that are very memorable, very quotable. You can't ask for anything more than that. One of the things that really did throw me is how young they cast, because a lot of the like core members of the cast, whatever, that's fine. And, you know, they had like Dylan O'Brien playing Dan Aykroyd, which was a personal highlight for me. I thought he did that really well. And they're kind of cast at like probably about the right age, I think, for the most part, that the people actually were at the time. The main two that are, you know, the executive producers of the show, Lorne and I can't remember, Dick is the other guy's name. They cast like they were like maybe 32 and like 28 when this was actually happening, and they cast a 21 and a 22-year-old. And I'm a little bit like, what? Like, it is noticeable at times, because you can tell just how young they are. Saturday Night is the kind of thing that I could rewatch a bunch of times. I truly believe it just hasn't gotten more Oscars buzz because it is the story of a group of mostly white people overcoming being slightly too young for their jobs. But, like, honestly, it is a bit of a crime not to give at least that script more recognition, because it is just nuts. I mean, if you want my comeback, you'll have to scrape it off your mother's teeth. Come on. It represents everything SNL set out to be, and perhaps in some ways still is to this day after 50 years, which is incredible. I do have to say, though, I'm not one of those people who's just going to scream and be like, SNL, shit, it's not funny. Like, I've seen funny bits from it, but it was pretty, like, disappointing to me that at the end of this all, when they actually start airing the first episode and they show that opening scene, it wasn't funny to me. Like, I didn't find it funny. I didn't get it. I was like, oh. But for the most part, I think this is fantastic. It's very watchable. It's so fun. And I'm giving Chevy Chase really is a cuck 4 stars. I get the whole, by God, they changed television history forever thing, but they do, like, Americans love when they've got something like that to pour it on. And honestly, like, SNL has its moments, and it's got some great people who've been in it, but it's not that funny generally, like, from what I've seen. That's a British perspective on it, you know. Subscribe for more hard truths.